Greetings, this is L. The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is the topic I'll be discussing in today's video. Too many people fall victim to the problem of only being capable of entertaining one idea at a time. This inevitably causes us to become more narrow-minded over time. Why? Because of what psychologists call confirmation bias. We tend to gather information from a specific viewpoint, looking only for data that supports the idea. In other words, we're constantly trying to confirm what we already suspect, even if the conclusion is ultimately wrong. So why does this happen? What makes us susceptible to confirmation bias? The confirmation bias is a result of laziness. It is easier to settle on a position, belief, or opinion than to endlessly debate it. It occurs because we tend to decide what we want to think about something before there's even enough evidence to logically make that decision. And so instead of waiting for sufficient evidence, we'll selectively look for anything that seems to support the idea and view it as conclusive. How can we avoid the confirmation bias? We avoid it by first considering what type of evidence is needed as conclusive proof, and then asking whether or not we have it. If not, you must remind yourself that although it may seem probable at this time, you're not yet in a position to decide. Second, and I'm tempted to say more importantly, actively reminding yourself to not be selective. You have to be prepared to accept counter-evidence. After all, only one instance of something not being the case is required to disprove it. Third, consider what you know. Are there more than one possible options? If at least two opposing ideas are probable, create an inner dialogue. Argue with yourself about each option. This will help you in remaining objective and prevent you from falling victim to the confirmation bias. If you're always trying to prove two opposing ideas, bias can rarely come into play. This brings me back to the quote at the beginning. If you can reasonably consider two different thoughts which are contrary to each other without having to take a position about what you believe, not only will your deductive skills continually increase, not only will you avoid the confirmation bias altogether, but you will also be able to view everything more rationally, even when you would otherwise prefer to believe one outcome over another. Some might define this as being open-minded. Realize up front that thinking this way takes active effort, but after enough time of applying this method of thought, it will replace the destructive habits of bias and leave you a better, stronger, and more logical, independent thinker. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one, as well as discussions about world events and Death Note. Leave a comment below if you have an idea of something you'd like to hear me talk about, or just want to discuss this video's content. Thank you.